Not me forgetting my tea before I go live. Good morning, everyone. Hello. How are you? We are here. Oh, my book's back there too. It's right there. I can't do... Okay, I need to go this way. My finger needs to go there. Okay, there we go. Right there. Good morning, everyone. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead. We had a little bit of a glitch that I discovered. Because YouTube is stupid. Anyways. Let's go and get everybody so people know that we're doing sprints. How is everyone this morning? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Twitter. Somebody tried to correct me on calling it X the other day in real life. And I was like, no, we don't call it that. So... there we go. Now people know it's happening. Actually, you know what? We're going to put the nice, cool picture that I... Instead of just doing the link. There we go. That's good. Where else should I post it, guys? I'm going to check in with you before I post more links. I have so many tabs open right now. Anyways, good morning, Tristan. Good morning, Kay. I am doing well. I don't know about everyone else. Kay's currently reading Green Angel by Alice Hoffman. Thank you very much for booping the like. Booping the like helps. Good morning, Renee. Also boop the like. You have options to read. Might read an audio book for a bit to knit. Good morning, Max. Okay, cool. I'm currently still reading This Woven Kingdom. I don't know how far into it I am because I haven't looked at it since last night, and my memory does not go quite that. Bella! Good morning, Bella. I haven't seen you in forever. Good morning. Saw this princess right as I was thinking you're getting off YouTube to read. So this is not only a perfect compromise, but perfect timing. I love that. Give me just a moment. I am 88% through the book. I've got an hour and a half left to listen to. And I'm currently reading, because I don't want to get up and get it from the back. I'm reading This Woven Kingdom by Tahra Mafi. Hello of Butterflies and Books. At 21% of the audiobook for Fragile Threads of Power. I have that right here. It just came in this week. It was really funny because it came in, and I've got a couple of things coming, and I had forgotten that I had ordered this one, but I've got the really pretty, like, matches the old covers edition from Forbidden Planet, but look at those sprayed edges, guys. I don't know if there's anything else in it, although it's got the end papers, anything else about it that is cool, but it matches the old covers, and I absolutely adore the old covers. I hate that they put a sticker on it, but whatever, it's fine. Anyways, I don't hate the new covers. I'm going to get the new covers too. I really like the color palette of them, but which makes sense because it's its own series, so that makes sense that they would do new covers. Let's see. I'm thinking I might start a recent purchase, a book no one has heard of, Small Rob, No Little Thieves. Okay, Are you saying that you do not have Little Thieves as an option? Or are you saying I might start this book? Oh, wait, no, Little Thieves. Because you know what my vote is going to be there, Renee. You know what my vote is going to be. So, listen. We miss you, Bella. Bella is reading Entwined by Tracy Shearer this morning. I have fallen off the booktube. I mean, not for long, but I've fallen off the booktube world a couple of times. So you're not alone. Anyways, I have to go and argue with AdSense because they've decided that my verification is no good. And so I do not have monetization currently. That's fine. But I'm going to go, let me pull up my timer. That would be helpful for everyone if we have a timer to go by instead of me just going on mute. watch a video on a channel one time and suddenly they're everywhere. Okay, timer video. Bum, bum, bum. All right, does everyone think? Let's do 45 for this one, and then I probably will do the next one for an hour just because, let's see, just because I want to go get breakfast and stuff. So let me get this exactly at 45. Hold on. There we go. Give me just a moment. I have so many tabs open and I don't like it. So we're going to fix that here in a bit. Oh, good morning, Elena. Good morning, Nadeem. Good morning. Good morning. Elena is reading Black and British by David Olusoga. If you don't, hey, accidental naps happen. You cannot be held responsible. I feel like my camera is closer than normal, and I don't know why. But let's get this timer put up. We'll be here for a couple of hours. You know, we like to go at least 3 hours or more because that YouTube really likes that and it gets you views. So let's do the nice setup. There we are. All right, everybody. 3, 2, 1, go. morning and welcome back. Hello. I read some. Give me a second. I was sitting down to figure out how much of this I have read. How did y'all do? Let me ask you that. Let's start off with how did y'all do? And then I think we're into the next chapter. I have a feeling I'm going to end up jumping straight into the next book. There we go. I love this protagonist because she's got all of these people that are like trying to get her to do, and she's like, no, I'm gonna be smart about this. And I'm gonna ask you questions because you're being weird. We love a smart protagonist. Okay, so I made it, got 40 pages read in that sprint. I am currently, this is where I have this much left. And then potentially we'll jump into the next one. Potentially I might jump to a different book just because that one has people waiting on it. So how did y'all do? Okay, Butterflies and Books went from 21 to 24% of the Fragile Threads of Power. Nice. I want to reread the first series before I get to that one, so I have a feeling it's going to need to wait because I believe it's not YA, so I don't think I need to worry about, let's see, oh, what's this? I got some new email. No. Oh, yeah, because I resent that. Okay, cool. All right, let's get rid of that. Anyways. Okay. We'll see if they can get my my AdSense working again, since they're like, we're going to send you an email to verify your identity, and they did not send me any email asking to verify my identity. So anyways, read about 5 pages in Little Thieves, liking it so far, but was hungry, so I ate a bit. Nice. Kay Simmons got to page 72 in their book. Very nice. I don't need Taylor Swift open. I don't need Messenger open because Brianna and I that was last night. I still need that. Anyways, okay. Anybody else got any updates? Anything else we want to do? Let me pull up, let's see, what book tag? What I'll do in the next one is I'll find a book tag for us to kind of chat about and answer some questions. But hey, oh look, speak of the devil. I didn't pull up a tag this morning, so I will get to one, but I hadn't pulled one up as of yet, and I just realized that I hadn't done that. So we will do that in the next sprint. Basically, what I do is I just go into YouTube and I go book tag and see what I get. But if I do that now, let's see what looks like a fun book tag to do. Booktube tag. Oh, I don't want that. Tag video. Let's see. And let's do, hold on, because I want to do original book tag. Because I want to shout out the original person that made the tag instead of like the. Let's see. What's this one? Give me 2 seconds, guys. Okay, this one would be a little bit of a challenge. Okay, so this is going, what do y'all think about doing one that's from a graphic design? I was talking about the fact that I did not need to keep your messages up because that was from last night. I was talking about you, Brianna. That's really funny. Nadim just started reading None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. Love it. Okay, so I think, what do y'all feel? How do y'all feel about doing like a one that's graphic design? I might need to pull up my Goodreads for this one. Because that I don't know that I'd have any answers on that one off the top of my head. Let's see. Okay, this one sounds fun. Okay, give me a second. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to do the world's worst book tag video. It was posted by Peter Likes Books about, back in 2017. So it's like a 6-year-old tag, but I like these questions. So that should be fun. Okay, give me just a second. There we are. Okay, so the first question that let me get this. Okay. Oh, you weren't here, Brianna, when I said that I had to verify my identity. I mean, we're not quite at the end of the year yet. We still have 2 months. But I think we did one of the end of the year tags the first time. Okay, so, I know who this is. I watched some of his videos. First question is, what book or series would you force your enemy to read? I mean, I think the answer for me is always going to be Little Thieves. I want everyone to read that. What about y'all? Like, what book or series would you force your enemies to read? Let's see. What's something that could be like something absolutely devastating? Let me pull up my bookly, see what I can come up with. Because I haven't read anything this year that's been like, Brianna, have I read anything this year that's been like truly disappointing? Brianna says easily 50 Shades. Like, I feel like I would want to make them read something that would be emotionally devastating, like really cause them pain. Or I could just have them read A Song for the Void. I could do that. Except that's not a terribly written book. Let's see. I'm just checking through here. Try and keep it. Ooh, I know. This might get me dragged. I didn't even dislike the book. I'm just going through here, just like. That's not a bad answer, Bella. Bella would force her enemies to read Wuthering Heights. Bella got 2 chapters of Entwine read, may have fallen asleep in the past 20 minutes. In my defense, I got my booth. Oh, good for you. So I'm extra sleepy today. I understand that one. Hey, Jean. Jean is reading a shifter romance at 300 pages. We're getting smut. Okay. Ooh. Oh, boy. Amazon page counted this wrong. My 500 page is now 1,000. It does. Are you reading it through your Kindle, Jean? Because sometimes that it can be off, especially if they're like doing like what the physical version is versus other stuff. You know what I would, because here's the thing. If they're my worst enemy, we are probably diametrically opposed on multiple issues. So I think what I would do is I would make them read something that would make them think about some things, which would mean I'd probably make them read I'm Still Here by Austin Channing Brown, which I gave 5 stars to. But that would make them think about some things. So there is that. Max says, I was just thinking you subject them to Diary of a Wimpy Kid. LOL. Here's the like I said, here's the thing. I feel like I would take this opportunity to maybe make them a better person. Because if they're my worst enemy, they're probably a terrible person. So, does the encyclopedia count as a series? Hey, now, you're talking to a girl who sat and read the encyclopedia for fun. Like, not page to page. I did try to do that with the dictionary at one point, though, and realized that was a stupid idea. But we have a set down, or we had. My mom's giving it over to my brother. We had a set of like the World Book Encyclopedia, and I used to just like sit there and like look up stuff that I found interesting. So, but yes, the encyclopedia could count as a series. That would definitely keep them busy and from doing anything, keep them from doing shenanigans. So, I'm still going through like, what's a better answer than what I gave them? Just don't have anything that's a better. No, that one wouldn't work. Oh yeah, that's probably what I would have them read. I would either have them read that or I would have them read I'm out here giving them good books. My heart is it. No, let's see. They're no, not really. Yeah, I don't have anything that's really like terrible. Cuz like a lot of what I didn't like, I understand why other people like it. So, there is that. Let me reset the timer. I'm going to do an hour for this one because I want to get some breakfast, and that usually takes me about 30 minutes. And then I want to have time to eat the breakfast. So there we go. Let's go ahead. Let's do one more question from this one, though. I already know the answer to this one for Brianna. What book have you tried to read several times but haven't been able to finish? What book have I read several times but haven't been able to finish? Let's go look at my currently reading. Probably something on there. Good God, there are 20 books on my currently reading, guys. I need to do something about that. That's not even okay. I haven't even started that. Let's just do that. Yeah, there we go. Let's just put that in red. We're gonna get rid of some of these. I guess I'd have to say Assassin's Quest because I keep trying to finish that book, and we'll do stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool, this is interesting. I'm enjoying this part, and then we'll get to a point where I'm like, oh, why do we have to do this plot line again? I know why we're doing this plot line at this point. I still hate it. So I keep trying to finish it, and then I don't. Anyways. Oh, your brother is so disappointed, isn't he? I know exactly why you're trying to read that and why you probably keep trying to. I haven't read Watchmen yet, so I don't know. Can't say. I happen to kind of like the guy who wrote it, just because he's really annoyed at people misinterpreting certain characters and being like, it's just funny for him to be like, this is the bad guy, guys. He's not great. Talk about someone else who fell off the booktube. But I will finish Ninth House. I believe in you. Maybe you're just not in the right place for it yet. Who knows? I believe in you, though, Brianna. I believe in you. Matilda style. Oh, are you talking about my answer for the last one? Yes, yeah. That. Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't read the entire encyclopedia. I just read what was interesting. A Butterflies and Books is switching books next spring and going to start a contemporary romance on KU called Smoky Darling by S.J. Tilley. Never heard of it. Anyone else have a book that they have tried? That is Brianna's answer, by the way. Ninth House. She's tried several times to read it and finish it, and she now has to read it, which this is going to be very interesting because I feel like I'm someone who likes more internally paced plots. But like the thing that makes the book is in the last like 10%. There's a lot that goes on that if you're not invested and interested in the world and the weird secret society, and like if you don't care about those things, it takes a while to care about the character. Renee, you make me feel better about myself. So, like, Ninth House is not going to be the book for everyone. Anyways. All right, anybody else have any answers of a book they have tried to read? And while I'm waiting for people to get answers, I'm going to go into my studio. And I am going to put what's it called? The link in the tag. Okay. World's Worst Book Tag. Boom. There we go. If you guys would like to see the tag and watch the video, please do. It is linked now in the description. All right, I'm going to pull up the timer again. There we are. And we will go for another. All right. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. Hello, welcome back. Hold on.
Oh my god, hi. Hi everybody. Hi friends.
Welcome, Aoife. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm here.
I am present, and that's what matters.
Exactly. I did have breakfast, so I'm not hungry anymore, which is good.
Oh, good. What you have?
I made myself a breakfast burrito.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can have like all of 3 breakfast things because, like, I can't do oatmeal because I'm allergic to oats. I hate
Can't do anything with yogurt. Can't do anything with cheese.
I can do non-dairy yogurt, but I haven't
Haven't found the good ones yet.
Yeah, well, it's new, so I haven't really gotten anything. It's just so much easier to cook up some eggs, throw in some veggies and onions, and put them in a tortilla and eat them.
So. It still sounds good, though.
Yeah, it is very good.
It still sounds good.
So, anyways, I finished my book.
Hooray!
I will not be jumping straight into it, the next book, because this one has to go back to the library. The audiobook has to go back to the library soon, so we're going to be reading Song of Silver Flame Like Night.
Oh, fun.
So, by Emily Wynne Zhao.
Did you enjoy the book that you finished?
I gave it 5 stars. It was very good.
Nice.
I mean, so this book, I'm driving to the library to pick up all of the mess that you see behind me on the bed. And there was like one little detail that was shared that had me like, I'm in the car just like screaming at the book, like just like, oh my God, like I cannot wait to like, I'm going to have so much fun with the next book. And it also, there might pop, like I'm getting the feelings of, well, I don't know, because the main ship going real hard on them. Like they met and there was an instant, kind of thing for them. And they both, there is that ship where they see each other in a way that no one else sees them. But there's another person that has been introduced. And the dynamics between our heroine and this other person, although I think he's going to end up with someone else, they are always, like, they hate each other right now. And I'm like, I could be down with a love triangle at this moment.
Oh.
I could be down with this going either way at this moment.
Because I don't love a love triangle. So it's very interesting that you're like, I'll have it.
I typically do not like love triangles because I feel like they don't make sense.
Yeah. Sometimes it does feel like they're just being done to be in there.
They're just being, not that they don't make sense, but they're so obviously just in there to be drama or add stuff to the story. And they don't have any, like, it's very obvious where the author is going. And I think right now it's obvious where the author is going, but this other thing could also work. And specifically, it could work because at this point, despite everything, I don't want to spoil anything, but despite what's going on with these two at this point, they're very against the idea of them being in a relationship. So, like, I could see something where they kind of start getting to know each other and respect each other, but I also think there's going to be a lot of pining and wishing for this other person, because, like,
interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyways, it was very, very good. If you like Tahor Mafia, I think you will probably like this. I've liked this the most of everything that I've read from her. So yeah.
There you go.
What about you? What are you reading?
I have just finished the audiobook of Small Things Like These by Claire Keegan, which was really good. Ending kind of took me a little bit by surprise.
Okay.
Because it felt very abrupt. It felt very like, oh, we're just leaving it here. We're not gonna go any further into what's actually going to be happening now. We're just abandoning that. I have set myself the little challenge of learning how to change color in knitting, which hasn't gone completely well because this is one side, this is the other side. I have a feeling that's supposed to be on the same side.
I wonder if you did the wrong rows where you changed colors.
I did it on the wrong row.
Okay. Well, then now you know what you did, though, so you can fix
Exactly.
it.
Now I know what I've done, and I know how to correct it.
So, anyways.
And I will also, when we are not in the talking parts, be reading Unraveling Oliver by Liz Nugent. I'm still, I am
See it.
still 10 pages in because I haven't really picked it up today. But it's as intriguing as every other Liz Nugent book I've ever read. And she is a
Nice.
phenomenal writer. So I'm intrigued.
Nice. Okay. Okay.
And I will also, at some stage, have to start packing because I'm going away next weekend. And I have not even considered looking for my suitcase yet. And I know that there is still time.
You don't leave till next weekend, correct?
Correct. But I know that there is still time. But I also need to do laundry before that, so everything is going to be ready.
Well, yeah, do the laundry first.
That's true.
I mean, I do laundry the night that I'm supposed to leave. So I'm always up late packing the suitcase. So,
some of us like to be organized, Margaret.
Well, I make a big old list. I am organized. I just wait to the last minute. I make a big old list of everything I need to take with me.
It's called procrastinating. Look it up.
Yeah. Well, I don't need my suitcase packed until I'm leaving. So
That's fair.
I just pack it the night before.
Are you then also the kind of person who, when you come home, say I'll come home on Wednesday, what day would you start unpacking?
Typically, I have to start unpacking like right away, but it is a process that takes a few. Like it's one of the.
It's not done on Wednesday. Yeah, it might be still happening on Friday.
Like I'll take out, because obviously I need my skincare stuff and all of that, so I'll take all of that out. I'll take out any clothes that I wear on a regular basis and I know I want to wash. Yep. But typically, the suitcase isn't going to get unpacked until I do laundry, which is on the weekend.
Yeah.
So it just
That's a very fair point.
It sits on my floor with me pulling things out as I need them, if I need them. Because typically, and especially with what's been going on over in France, like I kind of am.
Terrified of it.
I've always been someone that like I just wash everything in my suitcase before I put it back in with my clothes. I've had lice too many times.
Now, if I were, I'm not going to France, but if I were, I would have to do like an entire extra disinfection step of like wash everything at 90 degrees, practically with like insecticide, which they're completely immune to, by the way. They've like evolved.
Well, that's part of the problem, yeah.
But makes it even more fun.
Yeah. I think like one of my mutuals, shortly after somebody I met at BookNet Fest, she had bed bugs a couple of months ago. She had like not even having gone to France.
No. So. But there was somebody that I read on Reddit who was like, oh, I'm coming over from the US and this is probably going to be my first time in Europe. And my friend lives in Luxembourg and I'm trying to convince her to just come for like 2 nights in Paris and trying to like compromise by doing 1 night in Paris. And everybody on the thread was like, I don't think you understand how serious a problem bedbugs is. You are significantly downplaying how serious bedbugs is as a problem.
Yeah. Well, because I don't think we deal with, like, we don't, I remember we had a client apparently that said she had bed bugs in her house at one point. And my boss was like, she's on telehealth from now on. She's like, because they're so hard to do. I was just like,
yeah.
I feel like, okay, like I understand why you're like that, but also that telehealth doesn't work for everyone.
Yeah, and it does feel a little like I also understand it, but it does feel a little bit kind of jumping straight to option C when A and B have not been explored.
Yeah. So like I understand to some extent, because like a lot of the time people will not tell the truth to their doctor about certain things, but like at the same time, I don't know. I don't know as much about how. I just know that that's an issue, and I'm glad I'm not traveling anywhere right now. So, anyways, how did everyone else do? Kay finished Green Angel, is now moving on to Green Witch. Okay, nice. Interesting. And Bella finished another chapter. and took another mini nap. We love
Oh,
to see.
what's a mini nap?
Yeah,
I'm interested in the concept of a mini nap.
like 20 minutes, I think.
Oh.
So, and then we have Renee had to go because it's trivia night. That's the wrong one. There we go. So we said you're gone, but goodbye, Renee. Thank you for joining. And then, okay, perfect. So we do have a tag we're doing today.
What's the tag?
We're doing the world's worst book tag video.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So far, we've asked what book or series would you force your enemy to read, and what book have you tried to read several times but haven't been able to finish? So,
I think it's a tough one. I think I would force my enemy to read 50 Shades of Grey.
That's what Brianna said.
Because it's one of the worst books in the entire world.
I haven't read it. I have a plan on it.
I've only read the first 20 pages of the first book, and that was more than enough for me.
Yeah.
What was question 2 again, please?
It was, what's a book that you've tried to read multiple times, but haven't been able to finish?
Angela's Ashes by Frank McCourt. He is a very, very grumpy old man. And I have picked it up. I think next time will be my 4th attempt. And it's not happening. It's not giving what I wanted to be gave.
And you keep attempting for what reason?
Because it's an Irish person's memoir, and I feel like, patriotism.
Okay.
And it's also like a story of emigration from Ireland, which, I have some limited experience in. So I feel like I should at least attempt more of it, but I keep getting caught at 2-3 chapters in, and I'm just like, you are so insanely grumpy. I can't do it.
Not everyone wants to be reading about a grumpy man. Oh, speaking of Ireland and Irish, have you seen the reaction people have been having to Hosier making his statement on Palestine?
No.
No, it's just a bunch of, apparently it was very milquetoast. So it's a bunch of people just quote tweeting him and going, "You're Irish." I'm just like, oh boy. I don't know if he's he grew up there, if he's Irish American or what, but
no, he's proper Irish.
He's proper Irish.
He was born in Wicklow, which is one county underneath Dublin.
Okay. So yeah, that makes even less sense that he would be, because from what I understand, most of y'all are on the Palestinian side.
We are fairly pro-Palestine as a country.
Yeah.
I explained this to the German a few weeks ago, maybe last week when everything was really starting to kick off over there. I was like, as a whole, my people have generally been pro the oppressed for obvious reasons. And he was like, what reasons were those? And I was like, we do not have time for this PowerPoint, my dear.
Just here is a book on Irish history.
Here is a 5-second introduction to colonialism and Ireland.
How do I, as an American, know more about this than someone who actually lives in Europe?
See, the thing is, I don't think that side of history is taught in German schools.
Yeah.
Whereas we did get taught about World War II, but we only had a 2-week, 4 pages in our textbook. This is what happened. This is how it started. This was called the result of these things.
A lot of y'all, if I am remembering dates correctly, there was stuff happening in the early 90s, correct?
In Ireland?
In Ireland.
In the early 90s?
Or was it the late 80s? There are people still in living memory who remember some of the stuff that's happened more recently.
Yeah, so the Troubles in Northern Ireland really only came to an end in 1998 with the Good Friday Agreement.
Okay.
So that we were alive at the time.
Yeah. No, I know. Because I was born in 87, so
I was 92.
I've lived through a few things that I don't remember.
Same.
So, but yeah, it's amazing how much stuff that people talk about. There's still stuff happening in recent memory.
Yeah.
That people you talk to would remember, and how often we try to ignore that.
Yeah, this book that I just finished, The Small Things Like These. touches on like the mother and baby homes that were big in Ireland in like the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Is that the Magdalene Laundries, or is that earlier?
The Magdalene
That was
Laundry.
earlier. Yeah, okay.
The last of those closed in 96.
Not
And like
surprised.
that's my generation.
Yeah.
Our generation. And that's something that like while I was reading this book, I was like, this was set in 1985. And I was like, that's not that long ago.
No, that's 2 years before I was born.
Yeah, it's not that long ago. And I'm like, this is like, we're still talking about the Magdalene Laundries in this book, and they were still fairly rife in this book.
I mean, I think 96 is when it's either Canada or the US when the last residential school closed was in 96.
Jesus.
Yeah, and like they were that's very close to each other. So I don't know. I don't remember which country it was because they were both kind of they were both still functioning in the 90s. I just don't remember which one had the last. No, we listened to my favorite podcast. There's an entire, they did the Magdalene Laundries. They do 2 episodes a week. And so they did the Magdalene Laundries for 2 episodes. And it is one of the few episodes where there aren't like, because it's a very dark humor podcast. So you'll hear them making really dumb jokes about like stuff and like ironic jokes. And it's not for everyone, but this was just because of what was happening to the women and to their babies.
Yeah.
One of the few ones where like the most joking was at the very beginning where the host was like, why do you always have me on the dead baby podcasts? The dead baby episodes, which was funny, but like there was stuff that I there's a joke here. I can't even make that joke because it's just so awful listening to what was happening. There have been a couple of episodes like that where it's like, because of what's happening, like I think it was that one that because of like even me, I was like, oof. Because like I'll hear about some of this stuff, but because I'm so far removed, it doesn't really like it makes me angry, but it doesn't really like get me in the gut. But like that was one of the ones I think that did.
Whereas if I was listening to it, because this book that I've just finished, I'm reading as part of a book club, and we're doing an in-person book club on the 3rd, which I think is a week from this Friday coming. And as far as I am aware, there were 2 groups that met the first night, which is the night that I was there. There were 2 groups, and I was the only Irish person in my group. And I don't know if that also correlates to the other group. But I feel like I'm going to go in and I'm going to have a very unique take on this book. I'm going to have a very unique understanding of the social and political history that was around the time of this book, solely because of where I grew up and solely because of where I came from. Whereas, like, I don't want to be that, like, well, actually, girl, but there might be things where I'm like, it did happen in this way, but also it more so happened like this.
Yeah.
And also there's a comedian that my brother and I really enjoy, and he found out during the pandemic, that he was adopted. He was born in like the 1970s, and he went looking for his mother and birth family and all that stuff. And most, if not all, birth certificates and adoption certs from those homes were not accessible up until like 2021. And even then, he was like, there was such a rigmarole of all this paperwork. They would barely give you a name. You would just get like a 6-week, time period. So like I was born in June. I would get something like from June 13th up to July, end of July, because I was born in June. And it's just like, how do you even find somebody like that? But he said he was very close to being given to an American family and would have had a completely different, like basically sold to an American family, and would have had a completely different upbringing, completely different life, completely different like social mores, social circle, everything. Just because of some woman's decision somewhere along the lines of the high ups of the Catholic Church.
Of course. No, and it's one of those things that like now I know they keep that information, at least over here, they keep that information private to protect both parties. So especially if you have like, but like I know for a fact that people and they didn't care. They just don't want you to be able
No.
to find anybody. No.
No. And they wanted the money too.
Yeah.
The church wanted the money from selling young Paddy Murphy over to a family in Boston for
Yeah.
what, £500?
Yeah. Yeah. So.
What a fun turn this talking point has
But
gone
Cindy,
through.
let me ask you this: is
Ask
this a
me.
book that you would recommend?
Yes,
Okay, send me the title of it because.
I will do that. I will message it to you as soon as my hands are free.
Perfect. Because like, it's I. It's not that I enjoy reading a lot of that stuff, but I'm someone who's always hungry for knowledge and understanding.
Yes, that.
And to me, the more you know about these things, the more you're able to identify things that are happening elsewhere.
Yeah.
Like a
And there
lot
were
of
little,
my. Go ahead.
there were little kind of subtleties that I could pick up on just from having a knowledge of what these places were like. There were little kind of subtleties that I picked up, and I was like, "Oh, this is what's going to happen now behind closed doors. This is."
Yeah.
You were saying, sorry, before I interrupted you.
No, I was saying, like, a lot of my understanding and my kind of how I'm processing information on what's happening over in Gaza is very much based on what I know the US did in Latin and South America. Like, we have the documents for stuff like that that's been happening.
Yeah.
Similar. So like there's a lot that we're not going to know the facts for until probably until decades later.
Yeah.
Just
same with us. Like as I said, this, like, the last one closed 96. What have we now? 20, 30 something years, almost 30 years later. My cousin who was born in 96 is now 27.
Yeah. So anyways, hello Alex, welcome. I hope you are having a good day. What are you reading today? Let's go ahead. Okay, the next question that we have to answer is, what book has a close friend recommended that you ended up loving?
That I ended up loving?
That we ended up loving.
None of this is... Go. You go first.
I have to look it up. Go ahead. I was actually...
Oh, I don't. I already know. None of this is true by Lisa Jewell.
Okay.
One of my friends who I grew up with, but she lives in Spain, said that she found an English language book club and that they were discussing the book None of This is True by Lisa Jewell. Go and read it, because I am the only one out of the whole group who loved it, couldn't put it down, had a great time, and I need someone to talk about it with. So I was like, okay, I would fall on the sword. I had a spectacular time with that book.
Yeah.
It's a very open ending, which I don't always love, but I feel like that's a really good conversation starter with somebody who has read the book. You can be like, oh, how did you interpret it? Oh, how do you think it ends? What do you think happens?
It's really funny because as someone who's like, I'm not a big fan typically of open-ended endings.
Neither am I.
I think there are times that they can be very effective for what's going on. And I think there are times where the author will kind of do an open-ended ending, but it is still very clear what happens after.
Yeah.
I think those are some of the most effective open-ended endings that you'll see happen. Of course, that's a good one. I was gonna say Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. I just adored that book. That was a Brianna and Cal recommendation to me. It was so good. It was the best thing ever. And I had a great...
I feel like those two would know your reading taste so well that they could send you a book and just be like, this is a you book, and you will be like, immediately.
And it's funny because a lot of the time they'll describe it to me and I'll be like, yep, that's going to be a book I'm going to like. And then the funniest part is they will come back and like, see, I told you so. And I'm like, I never doubted you.
I cannot see Brie doing that at all. I cannot see Brie being like, of course you were going to like that. I said you would.
You've been on live streams where she's done that.
I have. I've been present where Brie has been like, yes, I knew you would enjoy this, Eva. That's why I told you read it.
It's like, yeah, I know. I am aware.
I know you said it, and I did it. And now look at where we got to.
Yeah, I'm enjoying the heck out of it. But that, yeah, it is really funny when they'll be like, "Yeah, see, I told you so," and I was like, I never doubted you for a minute that I would like this book.
They just want the I think they just want the what's the word I'm looking for? The spoils, like to the winner
Yeah,
the spoils. I think they just want that.
yeah, it's funny. It's really funny. Alex Black is currently reading A Tree Grows in Brooklyn by Betty Smith. Nice.
Ooh, you enjoying?
Uh, Bella says, Bella's answer is an absolutely remarkable thing. Was amazing. A friend recommended it to me, and I fell for it instantly. I have heard such good things about that, and I cannot wait to pick it up. It's really funny because I started out I still love both of them, but I started out more of a John Green stand, and just over the years, I think Hank has become my favorite of the brothers.
I don't think I've read a single thing by Hank.
He's only written 2 things, so I watch a
Remember,
lot of his science
did
stuff.
he also do the Anthropocene Dividend project?
No, that's
Or was
John.
that John?
John did that one. Yeah, and he has a new book coming out, but I haven't watched the video about it just yet. I am very excited for it though, because I've always enjoyed his books, just because he writes about high schoolers that are very much like me. And me and my group of it's always funny when people are like, "Oh my god, they're so pretentious," and I was like, "Yeah, my group of friends was like that." We were like, "Hey, we read Lord of the Rings at 14. We're better than you."
Did really do that though.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a whole homeschooling thing, because we were kind of in that kind of you have homeschoolers that end up really well educated, and you have homeschoolers that end up falling behind, and we were in the higher percentile of our parents were actually invested in making sure that we do we did because you have to, at least for Florida, you had to meet a specific standard every year, and my brother and I were always testing ahead.
Okay.
So it's probably primarily because of how much we read, and our mom read to us. But we just definitely had bigger vocabularies. Do I still have that vocabulary? No.
Also no. But I was the girl who was taken. I did traditional school.
Yeah.
But my parents were both teachers, so I feel like there was always that little bit of expectation that I would do well. I don't think my brother had the same thing for some reason, but I vividly remember.
Are you the eldest?
Of course, I'm the oldest. Do I not radiate oldest daughter energy?
Say, I'll be surprised if you aren't.
But I vividly remember being 6. So I was in senior infants, the second year that you are in school, and being brought up to the classroom by our teacher, and she had this folder. And she was like, "I need you to read these words in this folder." And it was stuff that probably 9 or 10-year-old level. And I was just like, I could read them, no problem. And then being shipped off to this Center for Talented Youth, and having to spend one of my Saturdays doing a literacy and numerical literacy test. And because I passed it, I got to pick out a CD that I wanted. So that was the story of me getting my very first CD.
Oh, exciting.
Yeah. But it's like you said, when you're always doing well, they kind of bring it down to, oh, but she reads a lot.
Yeah.
She's always read, she's always reading. Even when I was really young, I was always the one with the book. So I think that there's this correlation between it.
Yeah. The same here. Alex Black says, my friend recommended These Fleeting Shadows by Kate Alice Marshall, and it was absolutely wonderful. I'm not someone who enjoys horror, and I don't read YA much anymore, but it was a beautiful story. Oh, we love to hear it.
We enjoy that.
Yeah. I think I understand people that YA doesn't work for them as much as it used to. Yeah. I'm just a perpetual child, though. So
I dip my toes in and out. I've read a YA this month. I think I've read a YA this month. I did, and I enjoyed it. It was a middle grade, actually, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time.
Oop, Bella's asking important questions. What CD did you choose?
Very important question, Bella. I'm very glad that you asked. It was Step 1 by Steps, the UK band who did 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Which may not be very well known over in the US, but it is a dance floor classic over here.
Okay.
It has dance moves and everything. So one of my friends and I from work, who is from the UK, the two of us completely trashed at our summer work party last year, tried to lead everyone in the dance of 5, 6, 7, 8, which is the same as the dance to Saturday Night by Wakefield, who is a German band. So we got on fine. Everyone was dancing around with us, and I could see other people just being like, "How did everyone know this song? How does everyone know what to do?"
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. Okay. The next question we've got is going to be what book in the last year took you the longest to read? Oh, this is an
in
attack on
23
you
or
personally.
22?
I think in the last year. So the last 365 days from today, going back.
Great. Hook, Line, and Sinker by Tessa Bailey took me 23 days to finish because the day after I picked it up, I got a call that I had this apartment ready to move into. So had to organize flights back to Germany from my parents' house in Ireland. Instead of taking 2 weeks off to just recover, be with my family, see my friends from home, I was now running back and forward between different areas of Berlin like a sack mule with everything I owned in my back. I think in the evenings I read for like a half an hour before I not fell asleep, passed out. And then when everything was like, when most of it was in, because like moving is not you move in on the 29th, you're unpacked by the 30th. So when most of the things that I needed to live were unpacked and like my bed was built and my tables were built and all that stuff, I was just like, I will read for a little bit longer and actually finish the book.
That's funny.
23 days.
I think I've got you beat because
go ahead.
If we are, it really does depend on whether this question we're going for the book that I have, a book I finished, or if we're going for a book that I am still currently reading. Because Daughter of the Moon Goddess took me from April until September of this year to finish.
That is 5-6 months.
Yeah, that's several months. That's not as bad as let's see. I'm still reading Ruin and Rising by Leigh Bardugo. Been reading it for almost June of 2021.
Girl.
I'm reading it for a video project that I haven't finished yet.
What is the video project?
Hold on.
What is the video project? Can I read one word of a book a day?
It's more of a like I kept having things happen. So basically, it's me rereading through the Shadow and Bone trilogy with a more critical eye on specifically on Mal, because people hate on him so much.
They do.
And I'm like, I don't remember anything other than him just existing and being a little bit of a whiny bitch occasionally.
Yeah.
And so it's gotten to the point, like, I just kept having things I had to read. So it's gotten to the point that I'm going to need to rewatch the footage that I've already recorded before I can continue on. So I'm not endlessly repeating myself. The other one that we've got is, which is more recent, is Assassin's Quest. Where is it? Royal Assassin. 6. There it is. I have been reading Assassin's Quest since May 1st of last year. Actively currently reading it.
12 and 5, 17 months.
Yeah.
So if you had miraculously gotten pregnant on the day that you had started reading that book, you would have an 8-month-old baby and still be reading that book.
Yeah. It's just, I keep having, like I think I talked about it earlier, is like it'll get into the part of the plot that I like, and then it'll go into these flashback type things, but not really flashbacks, but it's like there's two kind of storylines we're going for, and it'll go to this one other plot line with this one other character, and I hate that plot line, and so we'll get into that, and I'll remember why I'm not happy with this book. And I'll put it down. I'll like rage quit, and then I'll pick it back up again several months later. I'm gonna finish it eventually.
It'll happen. It's in God's hands.
I've low-key figured out where things are going, and I'm not happy about it. Because and then it's really frustrating because this first trilogy I was actually liking much more than I liked. I ended up liking the Live Ship Traders trilogy. So I started talking about Robin Hood and we lost a viewer. Bella started reading The Handmaid's Tale in August of 2022 and finished it January 2023. I liked it a lot, just had trouble reading consistently last year. I get that.
That's fair. I've been there. We've all been there.
Yep. Alex Black says a prayer for Owen Meany by John Irving. It felt like it went on forever. And then I have an essay collection that I started in June. I totally understand that. I have books that I'm still current. Like I started back in April, May, and I'm still currently reading like The Cruel Prince and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I
feel like so.
I feel like The Cruel Prince really doesn't count because it's a reread.
Yeah. And also I feel like an essay collection, you can kind of just dip in and dip out anyway. Like anthologies, short story collections, essay collections, etc., poetry collections, they don't all have to be read in one sitting.
Yeah.
You can dip in and out of them as you so please. Like those 365 days of poetry or a poem every day for summer. Give yourself a little treat.
Yeah.
Read one a day.
Exactly. Max says I'll finish it eventually. Every book journetter about a book on their TBR.
I'll get to it eventually. I'll read it eventually. I bought this. I don't know when I'm going to read it, but I bought it and it's mine.
Yep,
and that's what counts.
Shannon Sale says, when you're struggling with the book where you have to finish by a certain date, how do you do it? Do you have tricks for getting through? I have ADHD. Which means...
My tip is being Nora spicy.
Which means that when there's a hard deadline that I have to have read it by, I'm able to push through.
God bless neurodiversity.
So here's the thing: is as long as a book is not actively making me angry, typically I can keep going. Sometimes I'll get in moods where I don't want to read that specific book, or I want to specifically read something else, and I just kind of go with it. But if there's a hard deadline where I know I have to be able to discuss it, it's a little bit easier for me to focus on it.
Yeah.
The thing that I will do if I'm having a hard time getting through a book is sometimes I will just be like, okay, I'm just going to start this and we're going to listen to it while I do X, Y, and Z thing. It's been a while since I've done this, but like I would do that and be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this for an hour and then I can go do what I want to do.
That's a good idea.
And a lot of the time, the issue is not like getting through the book. It is getting started. Like sitting down and getting started.
It's like going to the gym.
Yeah.
The worst part of going to the gym is the actual going.
Mm-hmm.
The being there is mainly fine, but the worst part of it is the going.
Yep.
And usually when you're there, you're good. You're G. And it's like getting into the shower in the middle of winter. A concept that you may not have because you live in Florida and it's perpetually sunny. I live in
Florida, but it does get pretty chilly in our house. Like, not anything that you'd probably think I was silly, but like, yeah. And here's the thing is, it's not necessarily, like, I know the shower is going to be warm.
Yeah. But
it's not all of me.
Before shower, I cold. And after shower, I also cold and wet.
Yeah.
But in shower, I'm nice. I'm warm. I'm not dry, but I not sad wet.
No, well, because Florida is just so, like, even in the winter, we have humidity. So our air, like, it will feel colder than it actually is.
Yeah.
That's why we have something called the real feel. So it's real fun when you're in the shower and like you're trying to do things, but that requires any part of your body to be outside of the shower, like the water. It's like, no, this is cold. Yeah, it's the after the shower that's the problem.
It's the worst part.
Alex Black says, yeah, that's how the collection is going. I read them sparingly. I just keep forgetting to pick it up. There's always, like, most of the books that I am currently in the middle of, there is always something that is going on.
Yeah.
So, I need to be reading more than I need to be reading that book. Yeah. Max. Also, Shannon, sometimes I just ignore the deadline. Yeah. There are videos that have not gone up because I was just like,
I'll do that.
I'm the only one expecting this video. It's fine.
Yeah.
As Max says, it's someone with ADHD, it's starting that is the worst, most difficult thing ever. Yeah, like if I am not super invested, like even when I am super invested, sometimes that's the hard thing. Especially because my brain will be like, I want to do something.
I'm not doing this anymore.
Last week was the weirdest thing because like I knew I wanted to read something, But every book I picked up, I was like, nah, this isn't what I want to read. Nah, this isn't what I want to read. Not that. Like everything I would think about was like, no. And then I started this Woven Kingdom. I was like, this is exactly what I wanted to read, and I didn't even know it. I was just like, oh, I have to start reading this book for this thing that I am doing.
When the right book just falls into your lap at pretty much the exact right time.
It's amazing. It's such a
Yeah.
good feeling. You
Yeah.
were gonna say something? You're
Was
like,
I?
no, I don't
I
remember what it
was.
was.
It's like what we said yesterday. If you're in the middle of doing something or you're about to do something and somebody says, "Oh, are you gonna go and do that thing?" Not anymore. Nope, not anymore. And if I am, not with pleasure. No, thank you.
The number of times my mom's been like, hey, can you do this? And it's something I was already planning on doing that day. And I'm just like, well, now I can't.
Well, now I'm not.
And like, that's not fair. Like, I totally, like, it's not fair to them, to her to be like, well, no, not, but at the same, like, I don't, how do you even navigate that with like, yeah, I know you want to know if this is getting done, but you asking about it getting done is actively making it less,
It's less fun
likely.
now. It's not as fun anymore.
Yeah. So it's making it the last thing I want to do.
Yep.
They say as they're struggling to finish the first chapter of their fanfic.
Happens.
We're expecting a word count by the end of the next sprint, which we will go into in just a few minutes.
If
We
you
have
don't give us a word count, coming for you.
we are going
Dishonor on you. Dishonor on your cow.
dishonor on you, dishonor on your family, dishonor on your cow. Oh, speaking of Aoife, this is your update. I have finished one of the books that I was supposed to read.
Fantastico! I don't have to yell at you today.
Yeah. Yes, thank you. Chris has joined us. I've had Net Galliarchs that I hated, and I bargained with myself that I would read a certain percentage each day, and I would buy myself a smoothie. It worked most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea.
Yep.
That's a great idea.
I need to write the reviews for some of my Net Galliarchs.
Same. I need to read some of my Net Galliarchs.
Oh, I need to do that, but I've read about half of them that I have currently, and I just haven't written the freaking reviews for them.
That's good going, though.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Let us. Wrong. That's not my timer. Oops. It was already paused. Okay, let us pull up. Let's do at least. Well, I'm going to do at least one more sprint. Yeah. We're almost at 3 hours. This will take us to about 4. We'll see where we are then.
Yeah, let's do that.
There we go. All right.
Yeah, also.
We'll do that. We'll come back. We'll chat. We'll do a couple more questions from this book tag, and we will figure out if we want to end sprints then or no. So
cool. That sounds good to me.
1, use your mics. Welcome back.
Hello.
Let's see. How did everyone do?
I read 11 pages.
Good to go. Nice.
I also cleaned my kitchen though and did some like stuff from my reading journal, like logged books that I am going to read or have read.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't completely unproductive.
Give me just a second. There we go. I read 35 pages. So
That's not
not
bad.
too shabby.
That's not bad.
No, it is not. And I went through my sweater drawer there.
What book is it that you are reading now?
Song of Silver Flame Like Night.
Yes.
So it's feeling very like I'm getting vibes that this is very much about when the English took over China. I'm getting kind of some of those threads that I know from history. So
Okay.
yeah, it's very like I'm recognizing a lot of stuff there. So let's see. Writing is hard, Max says, but I got 121 words. Okay, not bad, not bad.
That's good.
Yeah. Kay Simmons got to page 35 and got some more coffee. Nice. Bella didn't fall asleep this time. That's a win. That's a win. And Alex Black says 52 pages in that sprint. Nice. How are you liking the book currently?
Me or Alex?
I was actually asking you.
Oh, me. So far, good.
Yeah.
A little bit kind of, I don't know what's happening here. A little bit kind of, how do I explain her? She's will lull you into a very false sense of security, and you think that you are doing this, but you're actually doing this thing.
Yeah.
So I think she wants me to believe that this character whose chapter we have just had, I think she wants me to believe that they have more of an impact than they will end up doing so.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of her chapter headers are 1, John, 2, Mary, 3, Stuart, 4, Mary, 5, John. And you get their different perspectives for an entire chapter and have to try and put things together and piece things out and figure out why this person's insight and input is so important to the story. So I'm trying to figure out why is Barney, I think was his name, why is he so important to the story?
Okay. That's always fun.
As of now, I have no theories.
Okay. Well, I mean, you are like what, 20 pages in?
Yeah, basically.
That's not a theory.
It's not enough time to have figured anything out.
Yeah. You're not in a theorizing space just yet there.
No.
So, anyways,
if I got another 20 to 30 pages in, maybe at this stage we can start making some points.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing that I've noticed about Liz Nugent is that she has very twisty endings.
Yeah.
So I could think, oh my God, this is exactly what's going to happen. And then she'd be like, psych.
Haha, that's fun. It's cute that you thought that.
It's funny that you thought that. No.
Okay. I'm thinking that was going to be the last sprint, but I do think we have a couple of questions to ask. So we'll do 2 more questions from this tag, and then we'll call it quits for the day. I'm going to stop that because we don't need that anymore. Anyways, let's see. We did 4. Question 5 is, what is the fastest book you've read in the last 5 years because it was so damn good? That's an easy one. I just read Chalice of the Gods in like 8 hours.
That's so easy.
2 weekends ago.
Again, I probably have to go with none of this is true. Started it on like towards the end of my workday as I was going into the city center because I needed to pick up yarn and listen to it while I was walking around. and then met my boyfriend, so I had to like put it down for the evening. Didn't listen to it on the way home because we're talking to each other. That
Yeah.
would be rude. And then put it back into my ears as I was in work the following day and was like, I don't want to go to my meetings. I want to stay here and read this book.
That's so funny. I love books like that though.
So if we take out the time that I was like with my partner doing stuff, like eating and stuff, I would say I finished that within 5 hours.
You finished it
9 hours.
definitely within like a day, so
Yeah. 9 hour audiobook on 2 times.
yeah. Well, that's always fun. That's like,
Yeah.
I love that. I love that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. It's really funny. I did Chalice of the Gods on Saturday, and then Sunday I had the audiobook for Blonde Identity by Allie Carter, and I did all of that on Sunday. So I did 2 books in one day, like
Jeez.
consecutive days. So yeah, I could definitely do a 30 and 30 if I chose the books right.
Yeah. That's the point of it though. You really have to pick correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You really have to pick right. You can't just do like, oh, I might read that, or oh, I might read that. It has to really hit.
Yeah. Brianna was asking me if I wanted to do a 30 and 30 the other day. I was like, no. That's not happening. I love you, but no.
Why
not,
does she?
Not in November.
Why is her favorite thing to do chaos?
I don't know.
Why is that just her favorite thing in the world?
I mean, in her defense, she does not have insurance season right now. So she probably has a normal November. I do not have a normal November.
Doesn't she work in like food and events? Isn't she coming into the holiday season?
Yes, but I don't think that she isn't the one that has to worry about planning the events and all of that, because she's more about
isn't she like food safety or something?
Compliance. Yeah, she's more about compliance and safety.
Yeah.
So she probably I don't know how much the holidays are really going to affect her job, except maybe some of the restaurants not being open on days that she would normally go do them. Yeah. So anyways, like she might be part of like some of the planning for holiday stuff, but like she's not the one that's having to put it on.
Okay, fair.
Oh, I broke another chip off of it. What a shot.
Oh
well. Okay. So what about the rest of y'all? What's the fastest book?
People in the comments.
We need to know. We've got at least 4 of you still here.
And we also want to know how your reading has been.
Yes,
in that
they
last
did
print.
tell us that part. They did tell us that part.
They did tell us that part.
So, let's see. Oh boy. 6 is clear your mind. What are the first 3 books that immediately come into your mind?
What?
What are the 6th one is, what are the first 3 books that immediately come into your mind?
Book Thief. Matilda. Evelyn Hugo.
That tracks.
The very me answer.
The very you answers. I'd have to say, okay, not looking at my bookshelf. This Woven Kingdom, because I just finished it.
Yeah.
Darker Shade of Magic, because I've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
And The Chalice of the Gods, because I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. Oh, not bad. Alex Beck says, I've been reading the Kate Daniels series by Ilona Andrews, and they're super fun and quick. I've read 6 of them this month. Wow. That is not pretty impressive. That's not bad. That is that's more books, continuation of a series than I've read at all.
All year.
Exactly. Catherine Case has joined us. I'm at 90% of the Parable of Talents by Octavia E. Butler. Amazing, but hard to read. I'm not surprised to hear that.
Yeah, that tracks.
I felt that about when I read Beloved by Toni Morrison last year.
Yeah. Great book, but tough book.
Yeah. Bella says, I typically read graphic novels within a couple of hours if I read them straight through. So those are always quick. I know I love a good graphic novel.
Absolutely.
Those are, they are fun.
I feel like that's why the Red Team did so well with the Amazing Readathon. because so many people on the red team were graphic novel readers, so they could just bang one out in a couple of hours.
Well, not just graphic novel readers, but specifically manga readers. So they were getting 100 points without fail per book. Like, so even though you were only able to count you're only able to count like 100 points towards it, it was still
you're still getting 200 points.
Yeah, you're still getting 200 points. And then a lot of them were smart about it, where they would read like the 3-volume manga, which got you 300 points, and you get to double that if you do the plane. So like that's 700 points. Anyways, but yeah, that's one of those things that it's like, honestly, I know Brianna's talking about changing it next year so that like it's a little bit more, it gets people out. I would be fine if that was the case again next year, just because like anyone can read a manga.
Yeah.
Anyone, you can, like, there is so much out there that is by a BIPOC author and translated.
Yeah.
You just have to make the effort to find it and read it.
Yeah.
Like
my first book for the Amazing Readathon was a BIPOC translated author.
Yeah. Who was it?
And it was a yellow cover as well. It was the German edition of Take a Hint, Danny Brown.
Oh, nice. That is a feat, trying to read in German.
It really was. Poor little tiny brain was so fried.
That's so funny. Did you at least have like the English version so that if you were confused about something, you could go?
I had the English version beside me, and I was like, if I get stuck on something, I have the other version with me at 90% of the time.
Love to see that. I wish I had done that more with Spanish, like with Spanish books, because I probably would have kept my Spanish language skills up. Let's see. Max says most recent fast read is probably Witchlings. Actually, I have quite a few books that I read in like one day in August. But the most recent one was definitely Percy Jackson.
Yeah, I think a lot of people had almost a book a day in August.
Max is for the 3 books question: Hyperbole and a Half, because it's all I'm currently reading. Iron Widow, because it's what I got to read next, and Wheel of Time, because fanfic TV show, blah blah blah.
Okay.
I'll give you this, Max, and I don't know how diverse it is when it comes to sexuality and things like that, because I know the show is making some changes, or actually I don't know if the show is making changes there, if we're just seeing stuff that's already in the books, because I've only read the first book. I will say I was surprisingly pleased by how Robert Jordan handles his female characters. Like I really appreciated that, because like they have their own storylines and things they're doing outside of the main male character, which is Rand. It's Rand. So they like have their own things that they're doing, and he is like, especially with Nynaeve, like he is a part of her, like she needs him for her quest, not like he needs her as well, but like she's not tagging along on what he needs to do. He is tagging along on what she needs to do, which is fun. So like, yeah, I was surprised to see Robert Jordan do a better job of writing female characters than certain female authors I could name that published around the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. You're like, who is, I'm not going to say the name because I lose people every time I try, and like people just don't want to talk about that. So Catherine's 3 books are Vampire Academy, Cinder, and Much Ado About Nothing. I cannot argue with those.
That's fair.
Much Ado About Nothing is my favorite Shakespeare.
That's fair.
It is, yes, it is. Wheel of Time is basically loaded with more women and magic, and also like the Ints actually do shit. Or at least one of them does. Like it's very interesting because he's like, it's almost like he's writing a fairy tale retelling. Does that make sense? Like how you'll have a retelling of Cinderella and you'll have an interesting twist, and like you can see where they got the inspiration from, but also it's its own thing. That's Wheel of Time, in my opinion.
Okay.
If you compare it to Lord of the Rings. So, Catherine said I need to practice reading Spanish. I use picture books to practice Spanish reading. Yeah, I need to start doing some of that too, just because I like it's still there. I can still understand every third word and get the general gist of what someone is saying if they speak slow enough.
That's the problem.
That I can't do it.
It's when everything is so rapid that I'm just like, okay, I need you to slow down because I don't know what we're talking about right now. I
Yeah,
need you to slow down.
yeah, I enjoy that. Yeah, I wasn't sure where he was going with the gender essentialism in the magic system, but the fact that like women held such a place of power was pretty interesting in the way that he handled it. I appreciated that. And then yeah, there's canon people of color and polyamory, so I'll give him that. Yeah, he's like looking at a 2023 lens. Yeah, there's room for improvement, but
It's a
looking
start.
back to 1995, it still holds up relatively well.
That's pretty good.
Oh, nice. Catherine lives near the border, so I like to practice. Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good
that's a
idea.
smart thing to do. That's a smart thing to do.
It's very likely that people whose first language is Spanish will then come in,
Yeah, yeah. Get
or who are
adjusted.
more proficient in Spanish than in English.
Yeah, it was funny. When I worked at Chick-fil-A in when I worked in Gainesville, we had a guy that worked there with me that he didn't speak a lot of English, and I didn't speak a lot of Spanish at that point because it had been like a year or two. But we were still able to communicate because he understood what I was saying and I understood what he was saying. So he knew like if he couldn't figure out how to say it in English, he could just say it to me in Spanish, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, no, I understand what you're saying.
Good idea, though. If it's
I
stupid but it works, it's not stupid.
couldn't respond for the life of me, but I understood.
If it's
So
stupid but it works, it's not stupid.
yeah, exactly. Um, Listen, that's more Spanish than most Americans speak. So
Exactly.
in just a second, I am going to link you. There you are. Okay. Aoife is now linked down in the description box as well as the tag. Max says I have Libra fairy tales in Spanish on my Libra FM wish list to help me update/upgrade my Spanish recollection and skills. Yeah, I need to sit down and actually like do Duolingo on a regular basis for a while, and then pick up some books to practice with, like maybe find Ella Enchanted in Spanish or something.
Oh, good idea. That's a
Yeah,
good place to start. A book that you already know and love and have read, like
I have
know
read
pretty
that
much
book
inside out.
probably more times than any other book in
Yeah,
existence.
yeah. That's why I started with Matilda.
Well, okay, that's a lie. If we're counting books of the Bible, I have read the four Gospels more times than any other book that I have read.
You can start reading that in Spanish. It's great because the main character's name is exactly the same.
It's pronounced different though.
It's just got a little accent.
Do you remember the Vine that's like the girl's like, I cannot be with you because I have given my heart to Jesus, and it's this guy just yelling Jesus and running after some other random dude. That is my favorite Vine ever.
Oh no, my favorite Vine is, and they were roommates. Oh my God, they were roommates. My favorite Vine of all time.
Head. Catherine says my students will speak to me in Spanish a lot sometimes. I get other times I look at other kids and say what. Yeah, that's why "como se dice" is like the best phrase you can learn.
Yeah, it's all you need.
That was one of the first things that my Spanish teacher taught us. She's like, okay, you're going to say "como se dice," and then you're going to describe what you're trying to say.
I'm going to tell you the most important phrase that you're ever going to need in any language ever. I can say it to you in 4 languages. You ready?
What is it?
Howlan Laurlan. Wo ist die Bibliothek? ¿Dónde está la biblioteca? Where the library at?
See, I think the most important phrase to know in any language is "Dónde está el baño?"
That's also important.
Está el baño?
Let's not lie. That's also important.
That is my favorite Vine, Bella. I love it. Max says I was going to do that with series that must not be named, but then we know. You could do it with the Hunger Games. You could do it with Percy Jackson.
Do it with Narnia. You can do it with Divergent.
Narnia. I am sure that any popular middle grade book that you've got out there is going to be translated into Spanish.
Absolutely. I am gonna have to head off, I believe.
Yes, I am heading us off. Goodbye. Have a good day. Again, Aoife is not scheduled. Aoife is down in the description. Is there anything that you've got coming out that you want to, or has come out?
I will be vlogging for most of November because I am going to be aiming to read every single book in November as a NetGalley book. So if you'd like to see how successfully that goes or does not go, come check it out.
Nice.
Also, I have videos on Mondays and Thursdays, 12 p.m. Eastern.
Awesome. I just put out a video on the manga that I read. So if you guys want to go check it out, it's not doing very well. I have changed the thumbnail up a little bit. And change the title up a little bit just to see if that maybe gets more people to click on it.
Sometimes it works.
There might be sprints this Tuesday. I am not sure yet. It just depends on a few things. But there will definitely be sprints on Saturday or Sunday next week. So,
and I will come with you if they are during my awake hours.
We'll see you then. All right. So, anyways, thank you for joining us, and we will see you later.